Hello, hello. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Virginia, and I am the creator here at Unique Boutique. In today's video, I'm going to finally give you my market recap of my latest market that I did almost 2 weeks ago. Now, I apologize if you've seen my latest yarn haul videos. I have talked a little bit about being sick, and I actually started getting sick at this market. So I'm going to start from the beginning with how everything went. It was an indoor market. This was my first time going to this market. It was at a firehouse a couple towns over from where I live, so it was very local. And it was put on by one of my vendor friends, or she was the coordinator for it, and it was free to set up. So that's absolutely amazing. You don't get that much. But I didn't know what to expect, and went into it completely blind, and I think it turned out rather well. So before we get started into the recap and I tell you how it went and what sold, I am going to insert a video that I took while I was at the market. Once I got all set up, I went around and I tried to slowly videotape my entire setup so you can see how I set up and what my products look like when they're at market. It was a very quiet room that I was in, and I am obviously still new to all this, videotaping. I've done markets. This will be my 3rd year. However, I didn't feel comfortable with narrating my video at the time. Like I said, it was so quiet when I did the video. So anyway, here we go. I am going to insert the video that I took at the market. It should follow over here. And then once that's done, we will come back here and I will tell you what sold.
You're climbing the list, you don't want to
Okay, now I'm back. And so I'm going to go over how my day started. So I get to the market. Like I said, I had never been there before, so I wasn't even sure where to park, where I was going to be set up, any of that. So I pull into the parking lot, and I parked a little bit away from the door because there was a bunch of cars parked by the door. And I step out of my car, and the first thing that happens is I step on something when I step out of my car. So I look down, and I had stepped on a dead bird. I mean, is that like an omen for the day or something? Have you ever stepped on anything dead at an event before? I never have. So anyway, that was interesting. So I politely moved the bird off to the side, off of the pavement, so that when I unloaded my car, I wasn't going to be stepping on him anymore. And then I went in, I was told where my spot was. I unloaded all of my stuff, and we then had to move our vehicles across the road into a field to park, so we're away so the shoppers have someplace to park. As soon as I got back from parking my car, the skies opened up. I mean, it poured rain. So I was very happy that I got everything in. That was great. It did continue to rain off and on for the rest of the day. But again, we were indoors, so it really didn't matter. I really do enjoy doing indoor markets because you don't have to worry about that stuff. But I got set up, and as I was setting up, my market friend, Missy, the lady that I told you about earlier, that was the coordinator of this market. She purchased one of my baby turtles for her granddaughter, her little baby granddaughter. This is my little baby turtles. I absolutely love them. They're so cute. So she bought one of these for her granddaughter who was at the market. Two of her daughters are also vendors. I think that is so amazing. They all get to go to markets together. They all do their own thing. They're not competing against each other, but they get to sit around in the room together doing their own thing. It's absolutely amazing. But anyway, so she bought a turtle. My new vendor friend that I met next to me that was set up, she bought a turtle. She said turtles are like her absolute favorite animal. So I sold 2 baby turtles before the market even started. And then, let's see, I sold one of my baby chicks. I sold, for the day, my best seller for the day was the baby turtles. I ended up selling 8 baby turtles. So yeah, they were my best seller. Followed by, and I guess it's a tie, I also sold 8 of my lip balm holders. So now I only have 4 left. I mean, in the beginning, I must have had, I don't know, I'd have to go back and look, but probably about 40 of them last season or last year when I made the whole bunch of them. See, I like to batch make things. I know some people do, some people don't. I prefer to batch make because I can just take whatever yarn I'm going to be using, that one single pattern, and then you sit down and you get so used to the pattern that you almost don't even need to refer back to it to make the product. So you can just keep churning them out. I enjoy doing that. So that's what I did with my lip balm holders. I added these little wooden hearts to them afterwards. So if anybody wants to take them off, they can just snip it and it'll come right off and it won't unravel anything. I made these cute little inserts that go into my lip balm holders that have my business name and my contact information. So if they give it as a gift, the person receiving it knows how to get a hold of me. It's like a little mini business card is how I consider it. So anyway, so I sold 8 each of those. What else? Followed by my cat toys. I have the little Jingle Ball crocheted cat toys. I sold 6 of those. And I generally sell those. I sell them singly, or I sell them, 3 for $10, I think it is. So I believe I sold 2 sets of 3 on those. 6 of those I sold. Oh, wait a minute. I misspoke. So the lip balm holders I only sold 4 of. The other thing that I sold 8 of was my pocket hugs. So I have these cute little tiny crocheted hearts that are on a little craft card. And I have 3 different little sayings on them, about, although we may be apart, you're always in my heart, thinking of you kind of stuff. So I sold 8 of those and 8 baby turtles, 6 of the lip balm holders. 4 lip balm holders, excuse me again, 6 of the cat toys. And I am really, really shocked because my all-time best seller has always been my kittens. These are my kittens. They are just a miniature version of my cats. They're the loaf cat pattern, but I've made modifications to them. And my kittens have, since I introduced them last fall, my kittens have been my all-time best seller at every market. And usually I even sell out of them. I will bring 22, 25 of these to a market and sell out of them. This market, I only sold two. So that was a shock. The turtles by far beat the kittens. And another bestseller for me the year prior, before the kittens came out, were my Mabel chickens. So I only sold 2 Mabel chickens at this event, and then I sold the 1 baby chick. So it's a little bit smaller, same basic shape, but instead of a comb on the top, they've got a little puff with the faux fur yarn. So those were my best sellers. That's pretty much what I sold for the day. Yeah, I don't see anything else on my list. Oh, so here I should show you. So I use this cute little book. I bring this to markets with me. I like that it's spiral because I can fold it over. Now, in the beginning, I will put the information there on a Post-it of where my market is, all the particulars that I need to know, the size of my available space, the address, the times for the market, and the time that I can set up. And I also do put on there how much the fee was. And I put those in, like you can see here, this is my very next market. So it's a blank page and it just has the Post-it on it. But that way I can keep track of my markets. And if somebody asks me at market where I'm going to be next, I can tell them because it's right there. But this is the book that I use, and then I write down each and every one of my sales. I put the date at the top. I number my sales, so I had 17 sales at this event. And then I write down, well, we've got a visitor coming. I write down on here how much the sale was, and I also keep track of, thanks kitty. So my cat just knocked my phone off of my stand. Please don't do it again, baby. So I keep track of if my sale was cash or credit, if I used Venmo, if I used my Square, so that way at the end of the day, I know, you know, what people are using. Come here. So this is my cat, Kitty Bean. She is my helper. She helps me in everything. Say hi, Bean. Say hi. So yeah, she helps me. Usually her help is more of a hindrance, but she helps me. So that's my little book that I bring. And then at the end of the markets, I have this cute little book. I'm thinking of putting something on the front here, but I have this little book. And I will go into this book and I write everything from that Post-it, I will write at the top. So again, it shows the date, the place, the time, my space, how much it cost, when I can set up. What are you into now? And then I will write down everything that's sold, just like I do in here. Oh, and also I try to keep track of the times that I sell things too. So then I kind of know for like the next year, how busy I was the prior year and keep track. I don't know. I just like it. But also in this book, what makes this book a little different is I will write some notes here. I have a little notes section and I will write in the notes. Like this one says, set up the night before was great. It was a bit warm in the gym. I was set up between the bathrooms. There were lots of vendors, not too much traffic. Let's see. And I was told that that day there were 2 other markets the same day. So I keep track of all of that. So then the next year when I go to set up, I can say, how am I going to dress for this market? Was it cold? Was it hot? Um, were there a lot of people? Should I bring a lot of bags to this event? Just that kind of thing. I'll mention stuff about it was really windy, or, I was set up next to the live entertainment and it was too loud, so I don't want to be there next year. I want to be, request to be moved. Any kind of little notes that you will find helpful for the previous, for the next year, I put in this little book. So I have all of that in here. Yeah, so that's just how I do my markets. I do consider this market to be the one that I just did, that we're recapping. I do consider it to be a success. It wasn't highly shopped. Now, at this market, they had some outdoor activities for the kids. They had a bounce house. It was a community day. So they had the bounce house. They had the fire trucks and EMS. They had the local highway department brought over a snowplow for the kids to see and touch. And then inside the main garage where the fire trucks normally are, they had a bunch of people set up in there. And then you had to go through the hallways to get to, I think they might have called it a conference room. It was a big room, and that's where I was set up. Now, the event coordinator was set up in there. Her daughters were set up in there. So obviously they wouldn't have set themselves up in there if they thought that was not going to be a good area to set up in. But I did hear word from other vendors that perhaps some of the shoppers weren't aware that we were in there. I felt I was pretty consistent all day long, that people were coming through, and I did have a lot of people stopping and shopping and buying. But there wasn't a lot of people. I guess you could say there wasn't a lot of people. So if I still did that well, I'm looking forward to next year. I'm definitely going to do the event again next year, and that it should be even better next year. I did hear that because here where I live, we literally had like 2 weeks straight of nonstop rain. So the weekend prior, Little League opening day was postponed till this weekend, the very same day as this event. So a lot of people were at Little League opening day. I heard that there was also a parade going on that day, possibly in the same town or a neighboring town. So possibly a lot of people went to the parade as well. And that's what affected the turnout of shoppers. But again, I still thought it was a great event. It went very well for me, and I would definitely do it again. And one of the things that I found totally amazing was that they had somebody walk around in the morning with a box of mini muffins, and they gave mini muffins to all the vendors. So that was a nice little surprise. So we had a little breakfast. And then in the afternoon, somebody walked around and gave out free fried bread dough. It's perfect size. It was only like this big. Sometimes you go to an event and you get, bread dough that's like this big. And when you're only one person, it's totally impossible to eat. But so they brought around free bread dough. That was amazing. And they brought around free hot dogs. You can't beat that. I don't think I've ever gone to a market where I've gotten free lunch. And my spot was free. So, you didn't pay for anything. So it was amazing. So anyway, it was a great market. It was still raining when I had to pick up. So that wasn't so much fun. Like I said, I started to get sick during the market, started to get the runny nose, runny eyes, sneezing, coughing. I don't generally have allergies, but I just assumed, there's a lot of pollen. It must be allergies. But by the time I got home, I really, was beat. I didn't even unpack my car. I woke up on Sunday, made breakfast, and then literally just stayed on the couch for the entire day and napped. And I never do that. My husband ended up unloading the car for me on Sunday. I did go to work on Monday, and worked throughout the week. I didn't feel very well. My husband ended up coming up sick by the end of Sunday, so then he took off on Monday. So obviously I did catch some kind of a bug. It wasn't just allergies, but now I'm feeling a lot better. Still have a little bit of a cough, but back to normal. I feel like myself. So I was finally able to sit down and do this market recap for you. And I have another market coming up this Saturday. So I had to get this video done before I go into another market. And then I have another recap to do for you. So anyway, thank you again for watching. I could ramble on for hours, and I hope you don't mind that. Please drop me a note below. Let me know if you have ever done a market where you ended up getting sick. Let me know if you've ever been to a market where you've gotten free lunch. And also, let me know if you've ever been to a market and you've stepped on something dead in the parking lot. I think that's like a new thing. I've never done that before. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.